morning we're going to do some Italian beef sandwiches in the crock pot. This is something that you're going to have to start early that morning. That way it's done in time for dinner. I'm going to double the recipe, and then I'll show you the few things I use. It's just a few ingredients. The first thing is to spray your crock pot or line it. That'll help with clean up later. Okay, so I'm going to put 2 chuck roasts in here, and they're averaging about 2.5 pounds a piece. We do 2 for our family because everybody likes them, and we have leftovers, which everybody likes that too. The next thing is you need to buy this Italian dressing mix. Now it does come in individual packets. I just get the box, so I'll have it for other recipes. You're gonna need 1 Italian salad dressing packet per roast. I mean, I guess you could probably put in extra if you wanted more of that flavor, whatever. So we'll put in 2. Instead of gravy packets or au jus seasoning packets, I put beef bouillon cubes in and add some water. That would take the place of like beef broth. You could do beef broth already mixed up if you want to. And the very last thing that goes in is yellow peppers or banana pepper slices. We get, hopefully I can show you this without spilling it. I will spill some of it out. It's the hot, we get the hot ones. Normally what I do, we get them already sliced, that way we can have them on our sandwiches and I don't have to slice them after. So what I typically do is I pour in about half the jar, maybe 2/3 of the jar of the juice and the peppers. And then I just put it on high and put the lid on it and let it sit until it's done. And I'll come back in about 8 hours and show you what happens. Okay, fast forward 8 hours later. This is the meat. What I did was I got, I waited until it was till I could stick a fork in the roast and kind of twist it and it come apart. And then I just started doing that to both sets of roasts. And so, it just comes right apart. You put it back into the juices, and then you prepare your sandwiches or however you're going to serve it. And we're going to put it on mini hoagie rolls. So let me get those toasted up and I'll present it to you. Okay, so I wanted to show you real quick how I assembled these kind of family style. We use these small hoagies mainly because I can get them real cheap at Walmart. Like I can get a big old bag for like $3. So what I do is I slice them. I put them under the broiler and I let them toast lightly. Then what you do is you take a little bit of the juices that you created, just a little bit now, not a lot, and you want to put them on the bread before you put anything on there. And the reason is because it's so dry. You kind of want the sandwich to be kind of still soft and pliable and everything, but you want it to be kind of, not so rough and where you got to tear into it to eat it. So it's kind of helping soften it up without like basically disintegrating the sandwich. So I put just a little bit of juice in there, not much. Then I take 2 forks and I put the meat on there. This is like I showed you before, it's beef, and you really don't need that much. Now the pepper peppers that were in here basically just disintegrated. So if you're wondering, well, where'd the peppers go? Or put peppers on there or whatever, well, I mean, they're on there, they're mixed in with meat. And these are perfect for little kids. You know, my older kids still eat them, they don't care, but they'll just eat extra, you know. But for little hands, this is perfect. So the reason it's still on the cookie sheet is because I'm going to put them back in the oven. And this is perfect for like tailgating and stuff like that, or you got everybody over for a football game or something like that, because you can make these in batches. Okay, now I use provolone cheese, and you can get it sliced already. You just put this on there and stick it under the broiler just long enough to melt it, and that's all you have to do. And leave your tops near it, that way if the melted cheese goes over, it can still be on the sandwich. Okay, I'll show you what they look like when they come out. Okay, so here's the finished product. This is what it looks like. You can, of course, put any kind of sauce, like horseradish sauce, or any kind of specialty mayo, or anything like that on this. You can also pile it high with meat. You don't have to put the little amount that I did. And then you fold these over, and you got your sandwich. You can also stick toothpicks in them if you're worried that they're going to come over, but they're still kind of, if you can see, they're still soft, but a little bit crunchy. Okay, so I plated them up. This is what they look like plated up, and usually my family doesn't put anything else on them. They just leave them like that, but you could put anything on there. It doesn't really matter. And that's it. It's an easy way to do Italian beef. Very flavorful, very good, very easy. Hey y'all. This is the time of the year that I start experimenting with new recipes for the holidays. And we, you know, in case we want to change something up, something like that. So this year we're going to do macaroni and cheese. Is going to be one of the ones that we do. So we're going to try it out, and we figured you might want to come along and, you know, see what we're up to. This particular recipe is a Pinterest recipe for mac and cheese. It's called Mac and Cheese for a Crowd. It's from bottom left of the mitten.com. Never tried it before. I've never used evaporated milk, let me just say that, for my macaroni and cheese. So please don't come after me, but I've never used it before. So this will be the first time I use just regular old milk, but I usually do it in the oven or on the stovetop. So we're just going to try a few different ways, see which one we like. So let's get started. This is going to take place in a crock pot or a slow cooker, and you need to cook your elbow macaroni, 16 ounces of it, boil it and drain it and cool it off before you do this, okay? So I got this on low. First thing, we need to spray the inside of it, or if you've got a liner, that'll work, okay? Now, this has been cooling, so this macaroni is kind of sticky. So I don't know how that's going to play into it, but we'll see. Can't get it out. So typically, wouldn't have got this far, but life happened, so not too much going on to get to it. So I'm sure that I overdid it on the macaroni, but I'll just put it all in there and see what happens. Okay, this is not going to be made with a roux. Some people have like a flour-based cheese sauce that goes in here. This one's not like that. I specifically did not want one that way. So we'll just try it and see how it goes. So, I'm supposed to take half of a large pack of Velveeta, which is 16 ounces. Cube it up and then put it on top of your macaroni. And you know, if after going through all this I realize that it's not enough cheese, I'll just add some. Okay. Now, shake your evaporated milk as a 12-ounce can, and then pour it over everything. So that's the milk. Okay. And I'm supposed to, let me get a bowl real quick. I'm supposed to add all my spices in the bowl, mix them together, and then pour over everything. So the first thing we're going to need is garlic powder. We need 1 teaspoon. We need a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. Which y'all know me, I want to put like a heaping, so I'm going to put a little extra. 1/8 of a teaspoon of, see if I can get it open, black pepper. Okay. And a teaspoon parsley. Now that kind of threw me because we don't put parsley in our macaroni, but the recipe called for it, so. Alright. Stir to combine and pour over the pasta. Okay. A little bit scared, but I'm gonna do it. Okay. Alright. So I'm gonna cover this and I'm gonna let it cook. And then I'll get back with you. See you in a few minutes. Okay, y'all, this is what it looks like. It's all done. It really didn't take long. Only took maybe an hour and a half. I added a little bit of milk, regular milk, when I noticed it wasn't creamy. Just because, you know, it kind of wasn't, it seemed like it wasn't coming together. So it's okay. It tastes alright. I'm not sure that this is going to be the one that I used for Thanksgiving because it needs like a sharp cheddar flavor, and Velveeta is not it. So back to the drawing board on this one, but it tastes fine. I'm going to serve it tonight with just some fried okra and some Brussels sprouts. We kind of do some meatless dinners every now and then, so this will be one of them. You know, it's just a way of me experimenting. But thank you so much for coming along on my experiment. I'm sure we'll do some more. See you later. So today we're going to do Mississippi roast. So the first thing that you need to do, and it's for the crock pot. First thing you need to do is get your crock pot out, get it turned on high, get it plugged up, the whole nine, and then spray the inside of it. Spray. I'm going to do 2 roasts because it takes that many to feed my family. These are not cheap. You need to use a chuck roast. That's going to be your best roast to use. It's got the right amount of fat versus meat ratio, and it's tender after it's cooked. Now, I do mine a little bit different than everybody else is there. So you get you a small, or these you can get whole, you can get sliced. I get sliced. Okay, all that in, juicing off. Loaves of onion soup mix if you're doing 2 roasts. If you're doing 1 roast, you can just do 1. So this is onion soup mix. It's got all of your flavoring in there versus your onion, stuff like that. And you need ranch dressing packets, 1 per roast. just barely touching the top of the roast. And then you need to check it periodically during the day. See if it needs just a little bit more water added to it, because you don't want it to scorch or burn. So see you back here in about 6 to 8 hours. Okay, y'all. It's about 8 hours later. These are the roasts now. They're basically cooked to pieces. And then you have like a really thin, what we call dipping gravy in here. It's not a thick gravy, it's more like juices, like an au jus. And I did not have to buy the special packet of au jus to make it. So we're going to serve this on small hoagie rolls and mashed potatoes. So let me get that plated up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I plated it up for you so you can kind of get a feel for how it goes. But usually we toast these, and usually also I put on like some provolone or something like that, but I didn't have any, so I just put on some cheddar on it, and then I made mashed potatoes, and then took a little bit of the real thin gravy that it made, the dipping sauce, and put it on the potatoes. Real easy, real simple. Though all that stuff in a crock pot, you have dinner in a few hours. You just put aside with it. That's it. It's perfect for these fall blustery days coming up, and all the shopping you're going to be doing. So I'll see y'all next time. Good morning, everybody. I'm bringing you to my crock pot this morning, so we can go ahead and put in the meat, because you know it's going to take a good 6 to 8 hours to cook. We're going to do easy crock pot beef tips, and I'm going to serve that over rice tonight. So let's go ahead and get started. I went ahead and got my crock pot on high. I've got it plugged up and on high. I went ahead and sprayed it. You can put a liner in it, or you don't even have to use anything if you don't want to, but it kind of helps with cleanup. I got about 2 pounds of stew meat from the grocery store. I did some of the bigger pieces I did cut in half. Alright, so we need to add this to a crock pot. This needs to be on the bottom of the crock pot. So you kind of spread it out just a little bit. Okay, I did chop up an onion. Put that in there. You need a can of mushroom soup. I'm putting a family size can in here. So, I decided to up the beef broth. You've got to put beef broth in here too. So because I'm putting 2 of these in here, or 2 family size cans about the size of 2 of the regular size cans, I'm gonna add some extra broth, because this is probably gonna be your gravy. Okay, let's get our beef broth. Okay, put that over. And one thing we need to do now, put a little salt and pepper, and we are done. A little bit of salt, and I usually do a generous amount of pepper. Okay, I'll see you back here in 8 hours. Hey everybody, it's 8 hours later, and this is what it looks like after it's cooked down. Remember that I did add a big can of mushroom soup. The recipe doesn't really state what size. I wanted extra gravy, you know, to kind of make it stretch farther. That's what it looks like in the crock pot. Alright, I'm going to show you what it looks like plated up. So this is what it looks like plated up. I put some English peas with it. You can do it over mashed potatoes or rice, it does not matter. You can do whatever you want. That's just what I picked for today. And I just put peas with it. I probably would have put green beans or peas and carrots or something like that with it, but there it is. So it's a dump and go kind of crock pot meal. It's all ready to go. Thanks for watching. Alright, good morning y'all. I'm gonna meet you at the Crockpot this morning. We got a Crockpot meal, so you know that means that we've got to get that started early in the morning. So I've got, well, first of all, let me tell you what the name of this recipe is. It's Easy Slow Cooker Italian Gnocchi Soup, and it is taken from one of my favorite YouTubers, Whippoorwill Holler. Love her. I'm going to link the recipe below so you can visit her channel. She is the sweetest. So I have always wanted to try gnocchi soup or gnocchi at all, and I seen where she had made the soup, so I was like, well, we'll make the soup and we'll kind of give her a little shout out. We're going to double the recipe because y'all know I've got a lot of people to build and feed and they're hungry. So first things first, go ahead and get your crock pot out. I already got mine on high. And hopefully I'm hoping this is going to be done by supper time. I'm going to double the recipe, so I put in 3 chicken breasts. You need some carrots, and I put in about 6. I put really actually did extra carrots, so there's about 9 carrots in there. My husband loves them. There's about 5 celery stalks. Now just remember, this is doubled, so you don't have to do that many. Okay, so we got all that. I need 5 cups of chicken stock, and I'm just going to put the water in there and add my bouillon cubes. Hang on just a second to the water. You don't have to do that. You can use box or can, whatever you want. Alright, let's put some salt in there. Some pepper. Alright, so like I said, we're going to double this. So we need 2 teaspoons of basil, 2 teaspoons of parsley, and 1 teaspoon of celery salt. Bay leaves in. Now that I'm looking at this and seeing how the water is barely covering the vegetables because I did add extra, I am going to add a little bit more water. I want to make sure that I'm cooking all my vegetables good. And that is it for now. When we come back, there's something I've got to do at the very end, and that's where we'll add the gnocchi, half and half, and the spinach that goes in this. Alright, I'll see you in another 6 to 8 hours. Okay, so it's been several hours now, and I would say that the majority of the soup is done. Probably the best thing to do is go ahead and take a fork and just kind of do like how I'm doing. Just kind of twist, find the chicken, and then kind of twist it in there. Okay. Find your bay leaves. You can get those. I had 3. Always try to remember how many you had in there because I've left them in there before. And my family found them because I forgot how many or I couldn't find them. Okay, so you're supposed to use half and half in this recipe, but I have already been to the store twice and they still are sold out. So I had some heavy cream, I had a little bit of water. Hopefully it won't curdle. If it does, it does. I didn't want it to, but like I said, I've done tried and I can't get what I need. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take some cornstarch and you're gonna add it to your half and half. And so we need probably 4 tablespoons. Because, and I still didn't add enough. It's going to be 4 tablespoons of this cornstarch. Let me add a little bit more heavy cream and a little bit more water because we actually need 2 cups. Let me get some water. Okay, so we had to take a break. I made a little mess. You always add your cornstarch to cold liquid first. Don't add it to the hot. Even though it's going to go in there, you want to kind of temper it. Okay, so let's put the camera over into the soup pot, and you're going to pour this in, and it's going to change it to a cream-based soup. Okay, like I said, hopefully it won't curdle. Let me get all of my starch out of there. Okay, and I have nothing to stir this with, so I'm going to stir it with a whisk. Alright, so you got a cream-based soup here, and you have your gnocchi. This is what it looks like in the package that I bought. I bought 2 pounds worth, because like I said, I'm going to double it. According to the package directions, it just says put it in there, and you don't really have to cook it long. That's good. But we are supposed to put some spinach in here, and I have frozen, and so I want that to go in there first, and kind of now it's supposed to be an accent, not the whole soup. So let's do a little bit. That was about 6 ounces worth of spinach. And then once this heats up some more, I'm going to add the gnocchi to it, and I'll be right back and show you that process too. Okay, so we're back. It's time to put the gnocchi in the soup. And I doubled the recipe. And in some cases, maybe even added a little bit more than I was supposed to. Especially with carrots, you know, my husband loves them. So, but I didn't change the size of the gnocchi, just 2 packages. And they're shelf-stable product. I'm sure they make some that are, you know, in the freezer section maybe, I don't know, but these were shelf stable, and they're supposed to just be heated, so should be okay. I'm just gonna let them sit in here until time to dish all of it out, and I'll come back then and show you what it looks like. Okay, here's the finished product of the gnocchi soup. I did add salt, pepper, and onion powder to it because I felt like it was missing something, and that's it. See you next time. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to start a Crockpot meal today. It's going to be salsa verde chicken, and it's really, really simple. You need to go ahead and either line or spray your Crockpot. Go ahead and have it on high. I'm using 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. We need to use some salsa verde, so we need about 2 cups worth. Put a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and put this whole jar because it's not much left. And my family likes it. Okay. And that was that's a 24-ounce jar. Here's the label in case you want to see what it looks like. Okay. It's a really simple recipe, so it doesn't seem like it's going to take much to get dinner on the table tonight. 2 garlic cloves minced. I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of garlic. A teaspoon of salt. And I'm using kosher. Teaspoon of cumin. A half a teaspoon of pepper. see you back here in about 4 to 6 hours. Okay, y'all, so it's the end of the day, and this is what the salsa verde chicken ends up looking like. Of course, I went through with a fork and loosened up all the chicken pieces, kind of shredded it a little bit. And if you let it cook all the way through, it's gonna easily do that. So you have a little bit of juice, and you have the chicken. You see the juice? So what I do is I make a bed of rice. Okay, and then put the chicken on it. You can probably do mashed potatoes or something too, but I think rice is the best choice with this. And you can leave it like that, or you can add some shredded cheddar and a dollop of sour cream, if I can get it off the spoon. Okay, and then it would look really good. I should have picked up some green onions to sprinkle over the top. That would look really good too. But it's just an easy crock pot meal, and it really didn't take all day, especially if you use chicken that's not got bones in it. Okay, y'all. See y'all next time. Hey, everybody. This is going to start a small little series videos for you as some crock pot ideas. This one is a dinner, of course. Crockpot cube steak, and it's supposed to be real simple. Okay, and so we have our cube steak in here in a crock pot that's been sprayed with some cooking spray. You need to peel and slice medium-sized onion into rings. So let me separate those out real quick. And I am a little bit behind today, so this is going to go on high, which I think it's supposed to go on low, but we're going to go on high for a little while. Try to speed up the process. Okay. Alright, and then the next thing you're going to need is a can of cream and chicken soup, and I probably should use a small, the smaller can, the 10 ounce, I think. Yeah, but I didn't have that, so it's going to be a big one. Which we do have a little bit of extra meat than what the recipe calls for, so hopefully it'll all work out. Okay, cream and chicken. And a can of cream of celery. Okay. And I need to also put in a can of water. Take your soup can and fill it up about halfway with water. And one more last ingredient is some Lipton onion soup mix. There's a lot of generic brands out there that are just as good, so you can use those. And that's going to go on top. Okay. And I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper. Don't go too crazy because those condensed soups have a lot of salt, and so does the Lipton onion soup mix too. So, generous pepper. And you're going to cover that in your crock pot and cook it, I would say 6 to 7 hours. And I'm going to do it on high. Alright, I'll show you when I'm done with it. Okay, this is it. It did really well. I will say it shrank them quite a bit. Wasn't prepared for that, but they seem real tender and they're falling apart when I pick them up with a fork. So, seems like another winner. Good morning, everybody. We got another crock pot meal today. So we got to get started early in the morning so it'll be ready for supper. The name of this one is Crockpot French Onion Chicken. I've already got my crock pot heating up, and I've already sprayed it with some cooking spray. The chicken breasts that you need are just 4, but ours were so thick that I sliced them so that it'd make a little, it'd make more pieces actually. So I did that. So you're supposed to layer them in the bottom of the crock pot. You're supposed to slice in really thin slices an onion. And so you take the onion and you're supposed to layer it in here in the crock pot. Some of it came apart. So we're just going to do the best we can. It's a small onion, so that's what it called for. I probably would have done a medium, but it's okay. Also, I'm going to use this soup. It's just a Walmart brand condensed soup. It's French onion. But you could probably use any brand, I'm sure. So you put that on there. Let me get all the goodies out of the can. And then the next thing, we needed an onion soup mix, and you can use any brand on that. So it's gonna be a lot of onion. Okay. And you're gonna set this on high. I've already got it on high, like I said. It's gonna cook for 4 hours, and then we have this is not completely crock pot. It'll go into the oven at the very end, but it won't be that long. We won't spend much time in the oven. So I'll see you back here in 4 hours. Okay, hey everybody, we're here at the end of the day, and all the chicken's done. Here's what it looks like over here. See all the onions? All right, so what you need to do is you need to go back over here into the crock pot and get all the onions out. And arrange them on top. Whatever's left over. Oops. Okay. And you're supposed to take 1/3 cup of the broth. Oh, that's hot. So you're supposed to take and reserve about 1/3 cup of the broth off of the chicken. Now you're not gonna have very much. I mean, maybe a cup's worth. I don't know. Okay, so let's move this over to the stove. So we moved it over to the stove. We got our broiler on. That's what the recipe calls for. We're gonna take Swiss cheese and we're gonna place it on top. Now the recipe called for 4 to 6 pieces. I'm just gonna do whatever I want to. You know what I mean? So that's where we're going with it. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to top each chicken breast with the Swiss cheese and place it under your broiler until it's melted and bubbly, and they said it should be about 2 minutes. Okay, we'll be back in a second. Okay, it's out of the oven, and this is the finished result. I'm going to serve it with some mashed potatoes and some sweet peas. It's gonna be good. See y'all next time. Good morning, everybody. So we're at the crock pot this morning, and I've got to get this in the crock pot first thing so that it can cook all day. It's a pork loin with brown sugar and balsamic glaze. So you need to get your crock pot set on low, spray it with some cooking spray, put your roast in, 3 to 4 pounds, will be fine. And first thing, the glaze will be at the end. So the first thing we need to do is add our coarsely chopped onion and put it on top. And make sure that your roast is the fatty side up as well. That way it can help, you know, season everything. You need 1/2 cup of water, 3 to 4 garlic cloves, and I usually overdo on the garlic, so we're just going to do about 3 tablespoons, and salt and pepper. And then I will meet you back here this afternoon when this is ready for the glaze. And I'm gonna be a little generous with my salt and pepper. Hopefully it'll be good. See y'all later. Okay, y'all. Your final hour of cooking, you're going to have to make a glaze for your roast. So you need to get a small saucepan. Cut your heat up on medium heat. And you need, sorry, I'm having to do this one-handed, 3/4 cup of brown sugar. Okay. You're going to need 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar and 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. You're going to cook that down for about 5 minutes or so, and it's going to make a glaze. You also need to add a tablespoon of cornstarch. Mix all that up with a whisk, and then you'll pour it over your roast and let it cook for another hour. Okay, so this is what it looks like right now. I've got everything combined. And I'm trying my best to get my cornstarch to dissolve. And so you'll cook this, like I said, for about 5 minutes, and it'll thicken. Okay, y'all, listen, take this glaze off of the stove and pour half of it onto my roast. So let's do that real quick. You're supposed to flip your roast over, so that's why it looks like the smooth side's up. And let me try to hold the phone and do this at the same time. Just half of your glaze on top. And then when you go to serve, you're going to do the rest of your glaze. So let's spread it out just a little bit. And then you're going to finish letting it cook for another hour or so. Alright, I'll see you back here in a few. Okay, so this is the last part of the glaze. If it, you're supposed to pour it over the roast. Go and get it all out. What you're gonna experience is it's probably gonna harden up while you wait for the roast to finish cooking. So all you have to do is warm it back up, and it should be fine. Okay, there you go. Hey everybody, this morning I'm going to get a slow cooker or crock pot ready to go. We are going to do the recipe slow cooker beef and potato on Crock. So you do have a little bit of prep work ahead of time. You need to peel and slice your potatoes, you need to peel and slice your onion, and you need to brown some ground beef. So the author of the recipe is to layer everything that you need in the crock pot. I went ahead and got this warmed up, and I sprayed it with some spray. She doesn't tell you to do that, so it's just something I do. So the first thing we need to do is take the potatoes, layer them at the bottom. Let me see if I can show you these potatoes. So I sliced it probably about 1/4 inch thick. You don't want it where you can see through it, but it's almost that thick. I don't think I can do that good. So, almost as thin as the chips. And I just sliced these. I half the onion, and then I just sliced it. Because really, to be honest, you're not going to have much problem out of the onion. Break down like it should. It's the potatoes you probably have to worry about. The ground beef's about 1 pound. That was 1 onion and about 3 to 3.5 pounds of potatoes. Okay. And I split my hamburger meat because we're going to do another layer. You're also supposed to already have your seasonings in a small bowl, so you can also layer that. Like I said, I'm not going to do the cheese. That would have been another layer this contest, but I'm not going to do that. You need a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of parsley, a half teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and a teaspoon of salt. And this is like really just in half. So we'll do half now and half then. So here's half of our seasoning. Alright, like I said, the cheese I'm going to put in towards the end of the cooking time. The recipe says to go ahead and put it in there, but I don't think that the cheese is going to stand up to all the cooking it's going to have to do, so I would prefer to wait towards the tail end of the cooking time. And then put it in maybe the last couple of hours. And if you get to where it seems like you're going to have to add some broth, and if it seems like you're a little bit concerned with the potatoes cooking all the way through, add just a little bit more broth in there, or water, whichever. Alright, so that's all my potatoes, all my meat. Just kind of spread that out a little bit. And the last of my seasoning. Okay, now before I close the lid, I made some beef broth here. I'm going to pour that over it. Those potatoes need something to help them cook. Alright, this is on high, and you're supposed to cook it on high for 4 hours. To me, it's not enough liquid, but maybe it'll emit some, so just check on it here and there. Alright, see you when it's finished. And this is the finished product. I did add cheese at the end. So you can like add the cheese and just set your crock pot on warm, and it'll finish melting it. And then if it seems like the cheese didn't spread that far, you can always just, you know, add a little bit more as you go. This finished product, it was real easy. I didn't hardly mess with it at all. You have to be really careful because the potatoes tend to fall apart after a certain amount of time. So what I did is after about 4 hours, I just cut it off and let it sit in the crock pot until I was ready to serve. Okay, see y'all later. Hey everybody. Today's video is going to be about 3 Crockpot meals. This is supposed to make it easy on you during the week, especially we're running around doing all kinds of stuff. So stay tuned. Okay, so today we're going to do smothered pork chops. And it's a Crockpot meal. Real easy, real simple. I've already started my pork chops because they were a little bit frozen, and I wanted them to kind of get loosened up before I put the sauce ingredients in there, the smothered part of it. Sprinkle with a little bit of seasoned salt, and you can do a little bit of pepper, or you can just save that part for the last. It's fine. Okay, all you need is some cream of mushroom soup and some onion soup mix. And then you just pop it in there. I'm going to do 2 big cans of the family size, because what you're going to do is yeah, this is going to be sauce for the pork chops, but I'm also going to make like rice, and it's going to be kind of like my gravy over that. And you can do mashed potatoes too if you wanted to, or you could do some like roasted vegetables and just make a really thin sauce, you know, over that. You could add some broth or something, kind of thin it out at the end. But what we're going to do is this, and you kind of take the mushroom soup and kind of spread it out a little bit. You're going to keep messing with it as you check on it throughout the day, so you can kind of move everything around in there, because it's not going to be stirred to begin with. You probably could if you did this a little bit different than what I'm doing, but it's really, really forgiving. So onion soup mix, put that in there. And I'm doing 2 onion soup mixes because I did 2 things of soup. So I usually go by however many soups I'm putting in there. Okay? And that's it. And I did put just a little bit of water in the pan. And that's all we do. And you just cook that for like 4 hours on low, and dinner's ready. I'll show you the updated version of this and what it looks like at the end in just a few minutes. Okay, so it's the finished product, and the pork chops are literally falling off the bone. So I say it was a success. I've made this a million times. You can use cream of chicken soup if you prefer, instead of cream of mushroom. I wouldn't leave out the onion soup mix, but because it gives it a lot of flavor. But that's the finished product. And here's the plate all done. And plate it up. Another really quick and easy crock pot meal, especially with summer coming up, is country style ribs in a crock pot. All I do is I spray my crock pot, put a little bit of water in the bottom, put as many, this is a 2 packs worth, I'm not really sure, I want to say that's about 6 pounds of the country style ribs in here. Sprinkle with your favorite spices, ours onion powder, and make it generous. A little bit of seasoned salt and our barbecue sauce, and that's it. In a few hours you'll have some barbecue. Okay, hey y'all, we're going to do another new recipe. It's crock pot ranch chicken, and I'm going to show you what I need to do to get all this prepped and ready. So you need 24 ounces of potatoes, but I could not find the small boiling potatoes, so I just cut up some potatoes. Oh, and I'm going to double this recipe as well. That's why there's tons of them. Okay. Alright, we got that. And carrots. Okay, so I took just a few baby carrots, sprinkle in here. And in the beginning of a crock pot, you know, before we put the potatoes in, I did spray it. So we got that. Alright, it's going to be 4 pounds of chicken breast. And you're supposed to salt and pepper those. Okay, so you put your breast on top of, and this is going to cook a lot faster because your meat does not have bones, so that's good. Alright, let me wash my hands real quick. Okay, so you need to put in your cream of chicken soup, your chicken stock, and your green chilies. Now, it says to blend it in a bowl, but I'm just going to go ahead and dump it in. So you could blend it in a bowl first, but I don't have time. You know, isn't that the whole point of a crock pot? Is you just don't have time. So let's just put it all in there together, and I will make sure that I stir it up. And it needed 2 big cans, and all I had was the small, and I told you I was doubling this. So let's get all this out. Cream of chicken soup. And you can use a generic if you wanted to, but we love the taste of Campbell's. There's definitely a difference. I don't care what anybody says. For years I used generic, and my food was that I made with my casseroles and stuff, but it was a game changer for us. And get the rest of it out. It's not wanting to come out of this can. Okay, so there's that. What's our next thing? We need our chicken stock. So like I said, I doubled it. So I'm gonna put that down in the sides here. Okay. And then you got green chilies, which I may end up going back and adding another can. And last but not least, the ranch dressing powder. You just sprinkle it. Let's take this out. And I told you I'm doubling, so I got another packet. Alright, I'll see you back here in just a few hours show you how it turned out. Okay, so here's the finished product. Have to take the chicken out after it's cooked, shred it or chop it, and then stick it back in here. The different things you put in here, the chicken broth and the cream of chicken soup, it kind of makes a gravy consistency. And to me, it could be just like a, when you go to serve it, it could just be like put in one bowl. The chicken, it's got chicken, it's got vegetables, it's got a starch. It smells great. And I did add another can of green chilies. So there you go. 3 easy weeknight crock pot meals.